let's talk about how to shop. Let me tell you a story first. I was in a local grocery store a couple months ago, and we were filming a segment, and I followed this woman through the store. She did not know I was following her, but every time she picked up an item from the shelf, I came behind her, filmed it, read the label, and even I was shocked how much sugar she was eating, even in things that I would have not thought were bad for you. So what is the real way to look at a label? This is so crucial in your quest to become an urban carnivore. So this is what you need to do. When you look at the label, the nutrition label, there's lots of information there. Why is there lots of information? To confuse you. It's just like an insurance policy. You're not going to read it. You're going to look at one little thing that's going to say 1 gram of added sugar. Well, they would put that on a bag of sugar because they added 1 gram to the pound of sugar. So that means nothing, but it's deceptive. Here's the real thing you have to do. And it's a math equation. So look at the total carbohydrates, not the added sugars, not the amount of sugar, total carbohydrates. Why carbohydrates? Because they break down to sugar. That's what you want to know. So let's say it's 24 grams of carbohydrates. Divide 4 into 24, and that's 6. That's 6 teaspoons of sugar. Most of these items I was looking at were way more than 6 teaspoons of sugar. In obvious, seemed like good food, but it's not, because it tastes good if it has a lot of sugar in it. And it doesn't matter whether it's natural sugar, honey, that's sugar, fruit, that's sugar. Now, there's 2 kinds of sugars that we get mostly in our diet. That's fructose and glucose. Glucose is really not sweet. Fructose is. So most sugars is what you think of as a table sugar. That's called sucrose. That's a disaccharide, meaning 2 sugars, fructose and glucose, about 50-50. Now, you would eat the sugar because it's sweet. If you ate straight glucose, you wouldn't eat it, because nature knows that's a poison. So, but fructose is sweet, and you're going to eat all you can. Why do we have fructose in our diet naturally occurring? And the answer is to get fat. That's what it's there for. Read Dr. Richard Johnson's book on how nature is trying to make us fat. He makes a very good point in his book. It's there to make us fat because we didn't have grocery stores. When we came out of the winter in the northern hemisphere, we were emaciated. We had no fat. We needed fat, just like bears. We look for fruit. And if you eat fruit, you'll get fat, exactly as nature intended. But you don't want to be eating fruit every day, because you're going to get enormously fat, and that's what diabetes is. Sugar. That's what the word means. Diabetes mellitus. In Greek, it means to siphon out sweet water out of your body. And that's what it is. It's not a disease, it's a process of eating too much sugar. I know you're going to say honey's a good substitute. Yeah, honey's very tasty, and also make you fat. If that's what you want to do, eat sugar. It's that simple. But if you want to be thin and not have disease, then you need to get off of sugar. How do you do it? Number 1, read the label. Now, number 2, what do you do to substitute? And we're going to talk about that in the next segment. But the part I really want to tell you about this segment is this same woman, after she filled up her basket with sugar, she went to the back of the store and she went to the drug store. And she filled her prescriptions, which really, all those medications for high blood pressure, cholesterol, all this stuff is really just secondary to what she's eating. That's all it is. But our government pays for those drugs. Enormous prices for drugs you don't need. Diabetes is an acquired disease of your diet. And that, in my opinion, also applies to type 1. If you have all those markers in your epigenome and you eat 1 teaspoon of sugar, you're going to be a type 1 diabetic. But it's still sugar. It destroys your pancreas. So we'll talk about those items in much, much more detail in drjacoby.academy. And I'll explain exactly how you can transfer from a sugar-based diet to a carnivore-based diet. And you will be amazed at the simplicity of that. You don't need to fast. You don't need to give up things after you find out what things you need to eat to satiate your diet. And you'll feel better, you'll look better, and you'll live longer. And if you do have an itis, quote unquote, caused by sugar, we'll talk about stem cells and how that's the ultimate solution. Thank you.